A paradigm isn't just how you think. It's the invisible lens through which you see reality. It's the silent code that tells your brain what to notice and what to ignore. It filters your perception. It shapes your reactions. It defines your limits. But here's the trick. It's so deep you don't even know it's there. You think you're being logical, but it's your paradigm choosing what logic looks like. You think you're being objective, but it's your paradigm selecting your truths. Most people live their entire lives inside a paradigm they didn't even choose. It was installed by parents, culture, media, and never questioned. And until you shift that, you're not changing your life. You're just rearranging the furniture inside the same invisible room. The paradigm shift isn't a mindset tweak. It's a system override, and it changes everything. Paradigms are powerful not because they're true, but because they're unconscious. They don't ask for your permission. They just run, like background apps. And while you think you're making choices, you're really just running scripts. You avoid risk, not because it's dangerous, but because your paradigm tells you it is. You attract the same partners, same jobs, same outcomes, not because it's destiny, but because it's familiar to your code. The paradigm is not what's happening outside you. It's what's echoing inside you. You can't fight it with force. You have to reveal it with awareness. Then, and only then, can you rewire it. No one is born with a paradigm. You download it, in pieces, as you grow. As a child, you're in a hypnotic state. Your brainwaves are wide open. Every word you hear, every fear you witness, every belief you absorb, becomes part of the script. If love was conditional, if money meant tension, if expression was punished, your paradigm encoded that as normal. By the time you were 7, you weren't learning. You were becoming. And after that, you didn't need to be programmed anymore. You just needed repetition. You started repeating yourself because the paradigm had taken root. But what was installed can be reinstalled. What was unconscious can be upgraded. Your paradigm isn't random, it's structured. Thoughts, beliefs, emotions, habits, each one reinforcing the next. Your beliefs shape your emotions. Your emotions trigger behaviors. Your behaviors create results. And your results reinforce your beliefs. It's not chaos, it's a loop. A closed circuit that runs itself. And because it runs automatically, it feels like truth. But it's not. It's architecture. It's repetition. It's a machine. And you can't escape a machine you can't see. So the first step is to map it, to see where your thoughts come from, to track the loop, to expose the code. Because once you name it, you can rewire it. You'd think the truth sets people free, but often it breaks them first. Most people fear paradigm shifts because they threaten identity. What if I was wrong? What if my life is a lie? The ego doesn't want truth, it wants stability, even if that stability is painful. So most people stay in the loop, not because they love it, but because they fear the unknown more. But growth only lives on the other side of that fear, and the shift begins when you stop defending the cage. Paradigm shifts rarely come from books. They come from disruption, from heartbreak, from betrayal, from sudden clarity. Something happens, and the pattern cracks. Your reaction feels different. Your old explanation doesn't work. And for a second, you see it. The false story, the repeating loop, the belief that was never yours. This is the doorway, and you don't need to force it. You just need to be present when it opens. Every shift begins with collapse. You lose your certainty, your identity dissolves, your map stops making sense. This is not failure, it's initiation. Old parts of you have to die for something new to emerge. The collapse is messy, it's disorienting, it feels like regression. But it's the sacred space between programs, the empty canvas, the reset. Don't run from it, feel it. Because what rises after collapse is real. You don't just remove an old paradigm, you must choose a new one. Intentionally, consciously, a new lens, a new identity, a new internal story. I am safe to grow. I am not my past. I am the author of this chapter. You must live inside this new belief until it becomes the foundation. Not positive thinking, reprogramming. Because if you don't choose the paradigm, one will be chosen for you. Paradigm lives in the subconscious, and the subconscious speaks two languages, repetition and emotion. So, to reprogram it, you must feel a new truth and repeat it until it settles. Affirmations without emotion, noise, emotion without awareness, chaos. But when you combine intention, repetition, and feeling, you rewrite the script, slowly, steadily, and over time, the new paradigm becomes your default. Paradigm shift is not a moment, it's a practice, a lifestyle. It's how you breathe when no one's watching, how you respond to old triggers, how you speak to yourself at your lowest. It's not something you achieve, it's something you become. Your new paradigm must be walked, spoken, lived, embodied until it's so normal you forget the old one ever existed. That's the shift, and it begins now.